That was the most emotional that night could have been, I feel. About a week and a half in, I get the call and they're like, yo, do you want to be a main event? Whatever I get given to me, I'm going to take. I have to put someone to sleep because I could knock one of them down, but then they can just go and tag out. The only thing I can guarantee, man, is more devastating knockouts.
Welcome, Misfits boxing fans. I'm your host, Ben the Bane Davis, and I'm thrilled to be joined by my co-host, BL. Today, we've got a very special episode, an electrifying announcement in store for all of you watching back home. The moment we've been eagerly waiting for, it's the unveiling of the Misfits 13 card. But first, BL, how are you?
I'm ecstatic. Finally, we have unveiled the card, and it's one that's got everyone excited. It's got the people talking, I'll tell you that. But before we dive into the details, let's catch up on all the latest news on Misfits News. Let's start off on the crossover boxing world. Breitel has announced his return to bare knuckle fighting. Danny Aarons has dropped a little hint on who his next opponent may be, and the fight no one expected. English football legend Wayne Rooney might be stepping into the Misfits ring. Can you believe that, Ben?
No, I cannot. What an unreal sequence of events. I love it. I think Wayne would be a fantastic addition.
Well, let's first talk about this card. It's been unveiled. The fans have a lot to say. Now, Ben, run us through who is the talking order.
So we're starting off with the musician himself, laid back, also making a longer way to debut. This guy's been yapping since Misfits 1, trying to get in the ring. I'm glad we can see it. He takes on spiritualist DWG Earth. Then a championship fight women's lightweight belt up for grabs between Nikki Hru and Alexia Grace. BL, I know that you got a bit of info on those two ladies.
Nikki Hru, some people may not know, but she is actually the ICB champion as of right now. We saw Alexia Grace last time out on the Prime card. She took on Astrid Wet. Now, it was a close fight. A lot of people said it was a little bit too close for Astrid's liking. So how that fight will go, I guess we'll find out.
Then we get to the opening round of the lightweight tournament. Lil Cray Cray takes on Yuddy Gang and Joey Knight versus Baby Hulk. What an interesting start to that interim lightweight tournament. BKFC's Jake Botswick notably sparred with Jake Paul 5 times before the Askren fight. That should be a fun one for the fans, BL.
Absolutely. I think this card from top to tail brings excitement, and it brings different fan bases into each fight. I'm really looking forward to this one. Now, Ben, let's talk about that main event, the one that's got everyone talking about, and then we're going to go to the co-main event because that's being argued which one should be the real main event.
Fox the G off of the KO of Small Spartan J. I have high hopes for him, but tag team, I mean, going up against 2 people, BL, that's difficult.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. This one, I think, was rumored to go either way. It was either going to be 2 fights on one night or 2v1. And Fox the G's decided to go for the harder one, 2v1. I would have loved to see him in the tournament competition, but I think this is a great way to introduce him to the masses as a main event on Misfits Boxing.
BL, I want to take it to this co-main event because, like you said, there's an argument that this could be the marquee matchup, the top billing. Anthony Taylor defends the Misfits light heavyweight belt against Gabe Silva, the #1 contender. What do you think of that?
Well, it's a buddy of yours, Gabe Silva.
That's my best friend.
As we know, he's one of the talented fighters in the division. But I tell you something, the person to beat is Anthony Taylor. He is undefeated when it comes over to the crossover boxing world. He doesn't get beaten by the influencers. But is Gabe Silva an influencer or is he a fighter? I think there's no one better to talk about that but yourself, Ben.
He exists in an in-between world, Gabe Silva does, right? Kind of a foot on both sides of it. And within Misfits, he's displayed a lot of great tools, obviously knocking out myself, the greatest boxer of our time, and winning a close decision over OJ Rose. Now, you did say that the style to beat Gabe is Anthony Taylor, and I do agree. If we look at the Rose fight, it's the pressuring, it's the forward momentum of OJ Rose that was causing Gabe some issues. AT is going to take that and kick it up several notches.
There's so many different aspects to this incredible card, but I think there's no one better and no one more suited to guide us through the whole Misfits 13 card than the main event of the evening, Boxer G.
Ladies and gentlemen, he is the main event of Misfits 13, coming off a spectacular knockout. It's Fox the G. Fox, how are you?
That was amazing. I love hearing people say stuff like that. I'm good, bro. I'm good after that intro.
Let's dig into that. The Small Spartan J finish was truly incredible. We know how long you've been waiting for that and to finally get it. Just describe the emotions.
Yeah, I mean, that was the most emotional that night could have been, I feel. Pretty much everybody that supported me, all right there. There was my coach. There was obviously my mom, my whole team, my boy Amber, everybody. Just like I could stay here all night and just talk about everyone. And even the people that couldn't make it, seeing, you know, my messages, the online reaction, it was a good feeling, man. It was a good feeling.
Unpack and elaborate sharing it with your mom, the connection that you guys have. Obviously, that was a real powerful moment.
Yeah, man. It was cool seeing my mom there. I think that she was very nervous, which I could just tell. I could feel it.
Mm.
I could feel from her like she was nervous. So that's why right after the fight, I was right away like, "Yo, where is she?" Because I wanted to see her first thing after and just hug her and make sure she knows that it's all good. She's been there since obviously literally day one. She seen me grow from what I used to be wanting to do anything with YouTube to being on my big stage, having my opportunity. So it was amazing, man.
Did you feel that there were doubters? Did you feel like you were being not really considered heading into that fight?
Oh, 100%. I mean, that's why I took the fight in the first place, really, is because there's no better way to introduce myself into the scene. You know, I could have come in and done a job like that on any of them. But to go in there with a guy like that, calisthenic champion, you know, all of these guys have flaws. Every fighter has flaws. So I knew, and my coach knew that whoever it was going to be, we were going to make a game plan for him and we would be able to exploit their weaknesses. And we done that with Jay. And people didn't see it coming. I don't blame them for not seeing it coming. You know, if I looked at a matchup like that, I would also think Jay would win, but I would be mistaken.
You started from announcing on Misfits to then being the first host on Misfits News, and now you are transitioning into a boxer. Now, what is that journey been like for you?
It's been interesting because it's all different things, you know. Originally a content creator, then coming out to the events, doing the ring announcing gig, doing the news thing for a little bit, and now obviously fighting, cornering some guys too. Just being around Misfits, there's so much more to it than it seems like. And being at different roles, I kind of got a feel and an appreciation for the events at a higher level because I'm just like, whoa. But to finally be able to call myself a fighter, finally have my record, finally be able to, you know, be in a full-on camp, it's what I've been waiting for, man. And this is where I belong 100%. You know, all the jokes and everything, that's good, but this is where I belong, man.
And what was your toughest challenge in that camp coming up for you?
Man, I honestly, living with this fucker. If I be, he put me through it, which is exactly what I needed. He knows me so well. He's my big brother, so he isn't gonna hold back. And also just the sacrifice, you know, being apart from everyone is just and isolated, you know, just pure camp, you know, sacrificing everything. That was definitely tough too, but it all paid off.
All the sacrifices were absolutely worth it. Let's get into this. The main event, the top billing. Is this what you expected following the finish?
Absolutely not, if I'm being honest. If I'm being completely honest, I don't really know what I was expecting. I was so locked in on Jay that after the fight, it was a really weird feeling. It felt like there was something missing. I was like, I'm not thinking about Jay anymore. Like, no homo, but I was literally just thinking and dreaming about Jay for like 3 months. It was weird to like switch that off. And so I was just enjoying my time at home, if I'm honest. And I was expecting to have like a good couple weeks. About a week and a half in, I get the call and they're like, "Yo, do you want to be a main event?" I looked at my girl, I was like, she's not gonna like this, but like, yeah, dude, I'm doing it.
It is a really interesting prospect here, the handicap matchup. When it was first brought up to you, what was your takeaway? What was your opinion on it?
Man. Well, originally it was gonna be 2 in 1 night. And for that, I mean, for me, I always say whatever I get given to me, I'm gonna take, you know, especially if it's a main event. So I like it because it makes it a little bit more challenging because I have to put someone to sleep because I could knock one of them down, but then they can just go and tag out. So I really have to put another devastating performance and I have to put somebody to bed against. So it's a good test.
Why were you not included in this lightweight tournament?
Because I got an offer for a main event. The fuck? Like, what? Like, of course I would love to be in that tournament. That would be awesome. There's a lot of good competition there, and I think I've shown that I'm not a guy to back down from a challenge, but fuck that. I'm doing this. So yeah.
I want your thoughts. If you were in this tournament, what do you make of it so far? What do you make of the guys in the tournament?
Bro, it's solid. Like, there's genuinely, I look at that, and of course, other than myself, I'm doing my own thing, but other than looking at that, I'm like, bro, there's really nobody missing in my opinion. You've got Lil Cray Cray. I want to see him for a while. Obviously, Yeti Gang, I rate him so highly. Waleed. I mean, bro, honestly, the list goes on. There's some new guys on there I haven't seen before as well. You've got the Tasmanian Devil, the Argentinian dude. Like, I don't really know what they bring yet, but they're getting the opportunity for a reason. So it's just going to be really interesting, man.
Well, we're running through a lot of names there. Who do you think's the biggest threat at the moment?
Oh, man. For me, I'm just gonna be honest. I think in my head it's between Yuddy and Waleed. If I had to pick right now, I would love to see that as a final match. That would be the ideal final for me. I think Ace Musa is also a dark horse. I'm telling you right now, Ace Musa, that kid can bang.
Now, I do have to ask, folks. Apart from yourself, obviously being a big favorite, who do you think out of all of them is most likely to beat Dean the Great, the champion?
It's gonna sound stupid, but I think that Waleed and Dean is such a good matchup. Dean had a pretty devastating performance on Prime Card, don't get me wrong. But it's similar to like Deontay and Tyson Fury in the fact that every time that they fight, even if it's the 10th time, I'm tuning in every time because it's always fireworks. So honestly, I think Waleed, and then obviously Yuddy also had some good success against both of them. It's between those two again, man. It's the same two names for me. It's Waleed and Yuddy. My eyes are on them.
Obviously, you've got two opponents. This is no normal matchup. What do you make of them, and who do you think is going to be a bigger threat out of the two?
A threat. A threat. Neither.
Neither. Wow.
No,
Wow, neither one.
No, I think most wanted.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do you see that fight panning out for you? Obviously, we know you want that knockout. What knockout? What shot? I want a really precise way in how this fight's going to go.
Well, ooh. I don't even know who it's gonna be yet. Like,
That's
you know what I
true.
mean? I don't even know which
Mm.
one. If it's Evil Hero, it could be any of them. Augusta Wind, if I'm being completely honest with you. Like, I think Augusta Wind. Yeah, nah, bro. It could be any of them. Honestly, put him down with a jab.
Now, we talked about AJ Bunker a little bit. We're curious about some other Coach Solomon products. Obviously, close to Salt Poppy. Can you give us a hint on potentially his return? Coach Saul, feel free to weigh in.
Yeah, he's back in camp. He's looking good, back to his old ways. He's enjoying it, and he don't want no tune-ups or no any fight. He just wants the big fights, and he's just the same as always. Whoever wants it can get. He's a can man. So always gives the people a good night. But he's gonna come back. He's in camp. That's all I can say.
Yeah. What other things can the fans expect from you in 2024? Obviously, the focus is on this main event, but, that's in March. There's still a lot of room left in 2024.
Well, the way that this scene goes, man. I mean, for me, I wasn't even expected to be fighting anytime soon. I was still supposed to be at home with my, family and my girl. So the way that I see it is very unpredictable what's going to happen. But I would expect big things. There are big plans. I know that much. I don't know what the plans are yet, but I've been told multiple times that we have big plans and big things coming. And I'm going to continue to deliver the knockouts and the great performances. I'm going to continue to make the sacrifices and put the work in for your entertainment. The only thing I can guarantee, man, is more devastating knockouts. Don't know who it'll be. Hopefully Adam. I would love to have the Adam fight sometime before the end of this year. But yeah, man, either way, just devastation.
Well, it's truly a pleasure always to hear from Fox, getting all those insights. He really is the future of the division. But Ben, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on what you thought of Fox's confidence this time.
It's hard to say because he had such a healthy amount of respect for Small Spartan Jay, and coming into that matchup, Jay deserved all that. 4-0, several TKOs. I would say that Jay is a much more difficult opponent than Most Evil. Now, I'll say this. Most Wanted, 0-1 inside Misfits, coming off of a TKO to Joey Knight. Evil Hero, we haven't seen him in a year, but he's lost his last two fights to Adam Sala and Dean the Great. It's not like Fox the G is taking on the most winningest of opponents.
What's going to be difficult is the cardio aspect of things, because Fox is going to be there for a full 3 minutes each round, whereas the other two may have a minute in, a minute out, 30 seconds in, 30 seconds out, and when they get hurt, they're tagging out.
I will add this. I want the tag team of Most Evil to come in with a game plan. I need to see some strategy. They have to play this well, and with the cards that they're dealt, use them to the best of their ability. If they're going in there swinging hammers, I think that that's stupid. If they're not tagging out, I think that that's stupid. So we'll see if that, they can get back in the win column and come in with some strategy. BL, Bryce Hall dropped a bombshell. He's revealing he's stepping back into the bare knuckle ring soon. What does this mean for his rumored matchup with Whindersson Nunes?
So obviously everyone expected the Brazil card next. That's what I expected. That's what you expected. And then we were presented with this card. So it doesn't look like Bryce Hall versus Whindersson Nunes is going to happen yet. But it does interest me in seeing Bryce Hall's return on bare knuckle. His first performance, I tell you something, it surprised me. I don't know about yourself, but I think he poses a threat to the division.
I agree. Threat to the division in Misfits and influencer boxing.
Yes.
I think within
Yes.
BKFC or bare knuckle boxing, Bryce Hall would probably find a different thing coming. But for right now, bare knuckle, why not? BL, it's Bevo time.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. Bevo versus Danny Aarons. Now, Danny Aarons has expressed a lot of interest to come into Misfits Boxing. You can see him consistently on Twitter and bugging Mams to get on to the card. So it looks like we're going to see Danny Aarons. Now, we were asking who's the opponent. He was calling out Joe Weller. He was calling out Bazinga. But it looks like the fight being made is with Bevo. Now, what do you make of that?
I don't think Bevo should be anywhere near the boxing ring. You look at him and you just don't see a guy who's athletic. You don't see someone who's who's fit. I mean, look at how much the guy eats. You know, I shouldn't be anyone. I wouldn't be the guy criticizing anyone's physique. I shouldn't say that, but
I do want to interject. I did see him do pads the other week, and he didn't look awful. It really surprised me because when you see Bevo, seeing my man choke on food, you really don't see boxer. But I tell you something, he had speed, he had a bit of power, and he knew how to throw a jab, which is the basic fundamentals. Well, Ben, I think we need to talk about the shock of the week now. True Geordie has said there's negotiations between KSI and Wayne Rooney. Now, there's a lot of controversy around this, so I want your thoughts again. Does this fight make sense?
well, I want to remind people, as an American, I don't have the best finger on the pulse of football stars, so apologies for the ignorance. But Wayne Rooney, even mentioning Misfits, even mentioning boxing, elicited dozens of outlets to write articles, push news. So this guy at 38 years young, just, you know, bit outside of his athletic career, I think is the perfect guy, right? We've seen him box before, and if he's interested, let's get it going. Now, the thing is, I don't know if I would put him against KSI. If KSI takes Wayne Rooney's head off, imagine the marketing, imagine the absolute media frenzy that would occur. So I can see a lot of reasons as to why they would put KSI and Wayne Rooney together in a ring. BL, before filming, you and I did talk about this. Why not run back the 2-in-1 night? Give KSI versus Wayne Rooney, and then KSI versus Slim later in the night.
Wayne Rooney and Slim on the same card on the same night against KSI. I mean, could be dangerous for JJ. I mean, it's a big risk, but I can't think of many bigger fights that you can make. Or I'm just going to throw it here. Wayne Rooney, obviously teammates with Rio Ferdinand. Rio Ferdinand has a great boxing experience as well. Maybe that's a fight to make.
What could be good is get Wayne Rooney against KSI earlier in the night. Wayne Rooney gets obliterated. Then KSI versus Slim. Competitive matchup for Slim, and a chance for KSI to prove once more he is a step above. He's cut from a cloth that none of these other crossover boxers or influencer boxers are. Well, it's finally official. Misfits 13 is happening. We've had the privilege of hearing from the main event himself, and let me tell you, I'm buzzing for this card. Today, I'm not just asking for you to like, subscribe, and comment. I'm also encouraging you to keep your eyes peeled for those ticket sales. Make sure you've got that DAZN subscription locked in, and mark your calendars, because we'll see you there in Nashville on March 23rd. For BL and myself, we've been Misfits News every Tuesday and Thursday. We'll see you then.